Tonight on NewsWatch Ole Miss. Days after the Mississippi State Legislature passed the medical marijuana bill, it is still sitting on Governor Reeves' desk, and his time to act on it is quickly winding down. We'll tell you how long he has coming up.
There's a number of areas that we have full agreement on, and that is, one, we need to move away from the pandemic.
That was the sentiment from Arkansas's governor after governors met with the president and vice president today. More from them and the details on what that meeting are straight ahead. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now. Good evening and welcome to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Sarah Gail Myers. Over 2 years after Oxford police responded to a call about a person suffering from a gunshot wound on Chickasaw Drive, one of the suspects is now in custody back in Oxford. 3 people were involved in the shooting. OPD arrested 2 shortly after. The third, Antoine Geter, fled the state to Tennessee where he was arrested and imprisoned on unrelated charges. Geter was transferred back to Oxford on charges of burglary, home invasion, and armed robbery last Friday. And every day, Mississippi's hospitals are struggling to keep nursing jobs filled across the state. Right now, there are almost 3,000 nursing vacancies in Mississippi, and that number is only increasing. Some are leaving to take travel nursing jobs because of the higher pay, while others are leaving because of the job is becoming more physically and mentally exhausting, which is only getting worse as the vacancies increase. Chief Operating Officer of Mississippi Hospital Association, Kim Hoover, says that hospitals will be dealing with this issue for years to come. While Mississippi's number of nurses is quickly declining, the population of some areas is quickly rising, like here in Lafayette County, which is among the fastest growing counties in the state. NewsWatch reporter Kennedy Cooper went to find out how officials are accommodating the growing number of residents.
Vasquez moved to Oxford from Texas 2 years ago to work for Ole Miss Communications. He says he fell in love with the city and the culture.
You come here, you come to a place like Oxford, you come to a smaller town, and you do get a sense of community. You do get, Southern hospitality is not dead. And it just feels more comfortable around here.
He is one of many who found a new home in Oxford in recent years. And according to the U.S. Census Bureau, the population in Lafayette County has grown by 14% in the last 10 years, which makes it the 6th fastest growing county in Mississippi. Director of Development Services Joel Hollowell says being a small town with big city amenities plays a big part in population growth.
Brings, like I say, a lot of amenities that some of us who have been here all of our lives were not used to having. There are a lot more opportunities for whether it's dining or entertainment or those types of things.
With population vastly growing in Lafayette County, Director of Development Joel Hollowell says there have been growing pains, but they're working towards a plan to better accommodate the newcomers in the community. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Kennedy Cooper.
The 5 counties growing faster than Lafayette are DeSoto, Harrison, Rankin, Madison, and Lamar counties. Oxford residents have been complaining about poor water quality and management by the Pumpkin Water Association for several years now, and there might be something done about it. Tomorrow night at their regular meeting, the Board of Aldermen will discuss the potential transfer and dissolution of the PWA. The city intends to supply water to the PWA to help with the problems they are having. But the steps they need to do this are extensive, and all parties must be in agreement and able to determine that the city has the capabilities to make this happen successfully. The meeting starts at 5 p.m. and can be streamed on their YouTube. And speaking of all parties in agreement, at the state capitol, the medical marijuana bill still sits on Governor Reeves' desk. Governor Reeves refused to say whether he would sign the bill after it passed through the House, but his time to do so is running out. If a bill sits on the governor's desk for more than 5 days, excluding Sundays, it goes into law without his signature. Tomorrow marks day 5. Governor Reeves said he would veto earlier versions of the bill, but changes made it closer to what he wanted, and the bill passed with enough votes in both chambers to override a veto. In other health-related news, state and local coronavirus cases continue to drop slowly. On campus, there are 104 active cases between students, staff, and faculty, but 31 of those cases were reported just yesterday. Across the Magnolia State, there were over 9,700 new cases this weekend, a daily average of 3,250 cases. High coronavirus cases at the start of the semester meant that the Student Activities Association didn't get to start off with a bang like they anticipated. With cases slowly declining, NewsWatch reporter Emily Cochran went to find out how SAA plans to bounce back.
To kick off the spring semester, the Student Activities Association usually hosts a variety of events. But due to the rise in COVID-19 cases, these events have had to be pushed back. SAA says they are doing everything they can to keep students engaged while keeping health and safety a top priority. Co-director of special events, Tori Stark, says they are taking every possible precaution to keep these events on the calendar.
It has been very difficult with COVID, especially with the new Omicron variant. So some of the things we've kind of been working on is how to incorporate safety while also being able to deliver fun events. So we've really been working on keeping our crowd control.
Navigating throughout a pandemic has been difficult for the Student Activities Association, but some exciting plans are in the works for students, which we can expect to see in the coming weeks.
So we're really excited to get the ball rolling again this semester. Some of the really exciting things you guys can look forward to. So on Valentine's Day, so February 14th, Special Events is hosting Bachelor Bingo. So we're going to be watching the Bachelor episode together, and we're going to be playing bingo with that, and there hopefully will be some snacks there and stuff like that. We'll also have Parade of Beauties coming up on March 5th, and some other things you can look for later on. We'll have Land Shark Week in the month of March, so that'll be put on by Homecoming. Lots of programming that week, which will be really fun.
You can keep up with updates on these free events for students by following SAA on their Instagram and Twitter at Ole Miss SAA. I'm NewsWatch Ole Miss.
You can find more details on events and the full schedule on the SAA website. And more news on campus, an anonymous donor gifted the university $100,000 for a new scholarship. The money will make an endowed scholarship for students in the African American Studies program. The donor requested it be called the Fannie Lou Hamer Scholarship in honor of the late Mississippi civil rights activist. Hamer was a Delta native and she founded the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. The donor hopes that students receiving the award will be inspired by Hamer's legacy and strive to achieve their goals. The United Nations is meeting today to discuss the situation at the Ukrainian border. We'll update you on that conversation coming up. But first, here's a look at your current conditions.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
Mom! I got it. What are you doing in there?
I got stuck.
Are you a dog?
I wouldn't do that. Have you seen the pliers? Where'd you find those?
It's not your birthday.
Sorry.
Bye, Grandpa.
Bye, Grandpa.
Take care of yourself.
What are you doing? What are you looking for?
you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the moment I knew his future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
The United Nations Security Council began its meeting on Ukraine today in New York City, despite objections from Russia and China, who both hold permanent seats on the council. Russia continues to accuse the United States of hysteria and says that accusations of wrongdoing on their part are false. Ukraine's ambassador to the UN said that there are roughly 130,000 Russian military members threatening his country. He said that Russia is not willing to de-escalate, despite attempts to reach a diplomatic solution. Today, across the U.S., 6 historically black colleges and universities have been disrupted after receiving bomb threats. 5 of these are either on lockdown or have issued shelter-in-place orders. Among these, Howard University in Washington, D.C. has been cleared and the police found no hazardous materials. But this is the second time this month Howard University has received these threats, along with 3 other HBCUs. The investigations are ongoing between federal and state law enforcement, but police have not confirmed that these phone calls are connected. The National Governors Association met with President Biden and Vice President Harris today to discuss a wide array of issues. Governors from both parties expressed positive feelings about the meeting. The discussion ranged from voting rights and gun violence to infrastructure and coronavirus response. The president urged governors to use the money they receive from the federal government wisely and to keep schools open. After the meeting, governors felt like they had found some common ground. Many health officials are also urging the change of strategy in fighting the pandemic, despite the emergence of a new strain of the Omicron variant that they are watching closely. Speaking of the pandemic, the Food and Drug Administration officially approved the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine, making it the second fully approved COVID-19 vaccine after Pfizer. The biggest difference between the two is that Moderna's approval is only for adults 18 years and older, while Pfizer has been fully approved for adults 16 years and older and authorized for people as young as 5 years old. Both vaccines are considered mRNA vaccinations. With full approval granted for their coronavirus vaccine, Moderna is getting underway with trials a new kind of vaccine. A clinical trial is underway which uses mRNA technology from their coronavirus vaccine to fight HIV, the virus that causes AIDS. The trial follows 56 individuals who did not have the virus and will monitor them to see the virus's safety. The company said that their proof of concept trial last year was 97% effective. In food news, Domino's Pizza is now going to pay you to choose carryout over delivery. Starting today through May 22nd, Domino's will give an online credit of $3 for every carryout order to use on future online carryout orders. Domino's has been facing a shortage of workers, so this will hopefully help with these issues as one of the company's biggest pizza sales day of the year approaches, Super Bowl Sunday.
Coming up in sports, Coach Yo and the women's basketball team have dropped back-to-back top 25 matchups, but are looking to rebound later this week. And Super Bowl 56 is officially set. Find out what you can expect to see in this year's championship up next in sports.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
On October 15, 2017, 2 words changed the course of history. The words we wrote that day are a part of a longer and even more powerful history.
The wounds become scars.
Things are changing.
We really need everyone's voices.
Today, we all have a chance to write another chapter, powered by everyday activism as simple as joining a march or reading a book, written to a permanent archive on a public blockchain.
Because it takes a sea of us coming forward to demand change.
Because no matter who you are, you can act too. The end of sexual violence begins with this next act.
Times during class, and I tell her to talk to him, and it's like, oh, ew.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's all good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
The Lady Rebels put up a fight against number 15 Georgia on Sunday, but ultimately fell to the Bulldogs 62-52 for their second straight loss. Ole Miss got off to a slow start, and despite narrowing the gap to only 6 points, weren't able to close it out. Angel Baker led Ole Miss with 13 points for her 8th double-figure performance of the season, while Shakira Austin dominated defensively with her 8th double-digit rebound game of the season with 11. LaShonda Monk was honored at the game for her 400 career steals and then added 6 more steals for good measure. The Rebs will be back out on the road on Thursday against Missouri. Tip-off will be on SEC Network at 6 p.m. Keeping things on the hardwood, freshman Deshaun Ruffin led the way for the Rebels in the SEC Big 12 Challenge versus Kansas State, earning him SEC Freshman of the Week accolades. He is the first freshman to earn this award since Jarvis Summers in 2011. Ruffin had 17 points with a career-high 7 rebounds to seal the victory for Ole Miss. He also added 3 assists, 1 steal, and a block. The Jackson, Mississippi native is coming off his second 3-game streak of double-digit scoring games. You'll be able to watch him and the rest of the Rebels as they take on LSU in Baton Rouge on Tuesday night. Tip-off is set for 8 p.m. Central Time on SEC Network. After weeks and speculation and suspense, University of Southern California freshman transfer Jackson Dart will officially be an Ole Miss Rebel. The quarterback from Utah will add much-needed depth to the position and allow for the first true quarterback battle in years. During his freshman year, Dart threw for 1,353 yards and 9 touchdowns. Joining him will be USC transfer tight end Michael Trigg, who also made his announcement on Saturday. These 2 transfers were enough to push Ole Miss to number 1 in transfer recruitment rankings over the weekend. And with football season over and baseball season right around the corner, Ole Miss baseball fans will have a lot to be excited about heading into the spring. D1 Baseball released their preseason All-American teams, with both Jacob Gonzalez and Hayden Dunhurst being honored. Sophomore shortstop Jacob Gonzalez earned a second-team spot, while catcher Hayden Dunhurst made the third team. Gonzalez had an impressive freshman season, starting every single game for the Rebels and leading Ole Miss with a .355 batting average. Dunhurst, a 2021 second-team All-SEC honoree, batted .280 on the season and became the second Rebel ever to win an ABCA Rawlings Golden Glove Award. And Super Bowl 56 is officially set. The Cincinnati Bengals are living a Cinderella fairy tale, beating the #1 Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City on Sunday. Joe Burrow and the rest of the tenacious Bengals overcame an 18-point deficit to tie the AFC title game record for largest comeback. Evan McPherson was the hero of the game after kicking a 31-yarder in overtime to send the Bengals to the Super Bowl for the first time in 33 years. And as for any Rebels who will be competing in this year's Super Bowl, former Rebel Mike Hilton is heading to the Super Bowl for the first time in his career. The NFC Championship had just as much drama as the San Francisco 49ers headed into the fourth quarter with a 10-point lead over the Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford and the Rams marched down the field, scoring a field goal to take the 20-17 lead with only a minute and 46 seconds left in the game. Jimmy Garoppolo and the rest of the 49ers had plenty of time to get a field goal, but instead, Jimmy G threw an interception to lose the game in heartbreaking fashion. The Super Bowl will be hosted in Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium, home to the Rams and the Chargers. With the Super Bowl set, all eyes will be focused on who will win, the underdogs in Cincinnati or the powerhouse team in LA. And that's all I've got for sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at rebel_watch for the latest sports updates.
Thanks, Ruby. The last few days have been a bit warmer than recent weeks, but don't let that stop you from celebrating a wintry holiday this evening. Find out exactly what we're celebrating coming up.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
It may have been in the 60s today, but that's no reason to keep you from celebrating National Hot Cocoa Day. This warm drink has become a staple of winter, but experts think that the Mayans made the first cup of hot chocolate thousands of years ago. And while it is very sugary, health experts say that a cup every now and then can be beneficial. The antioxidants in the cocoa can help prevent cancer, and studies have shown other compounds can improve memory and heart health. So whether you prefer marshmallows or whipped cream, treat yourself to a cup tonight. Which one do you prefer?
I'm a marshmallow girl all the way. What about you?
Me too. Unless it's cold, then I like it with the whipped cream.
Very true.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Sarah Gale Myers. Be sure to follow us on social media for the latest updates. Thank you and good night.